All right, today we're diving into a pretty big safety alert from the automotive giant Stellantis. And this one's a little tricky because it's actually two totally separate recalls affecting thousands of cars from Peugeot, Citroën, DS, and Opel. So let's get you all the details you need. So, the big question on your mind right now is probably, is my car on the list? And look, we're definitely going to get to the specific models and dates, but first, let's just wrap our heads around the scale of this thing. Yeah, when you add up both recalls, we're looking at over 43,000 vehicles. This is not some small, minor issue. We're talking about a major safety campaign that's hitting a whole bunch of popular models all across Europe. Okay, so just to be super clear here, we are dealing with two completely different problems. The first one involves a pretty serious fire risk in some hybrid models. The second one is all about an overheating cable in a different group of cars. We're going to break down each one so there's absolutely no confusion. So let's start with the big one, the one that's frankly more severe. This is the recall all about a potential battery fire risk, and it's the one affecting the most vehicles across several different brands. So what's the deal here? The main problem is that the battery could overheat. And what's really concerning about this is that a fire could potentially start even when the car is just sitting there, parked and turned off, or even when it's just plugged in and charging. You can see how that really raises the stakes. All right, let's get into the specifics, the actual cars. For Peugeot, you're looking at the 308 and 508 models built between July of 2019 and October of 2022. For Citroën and DS, it's the C5 Aircross and the DS7. And for Opel, it's the Grandland X. If you own any of those, pay really close attention to those manufacturing dates. They are absolutely crucial. Okay, so what's the fix? Well, it's not just one simple thing. It's actually a multi-step process. First, you've got to take the car to an authorized workshop so they can investigate. Now, depending on what they find, the solution might be as simple as a software update to the battery's computer, or it could mean they have to replace the entire battery pack. And this solution really shows you just how complex modern cars are, right? The fix centers around something called the BMS, or Battery Management System. You can think of it as the brain of the battery. It's constantly monitoring everything, health, temperature, charging, to make sure it all operates safely. So by updating that software, the technicians can basically tweak the safety settings to stop this overheating from ever happening. All right, let's switch gears. Now we're going to talk about the second recall, which is completely separate from the battery issue. This one has nothing to do with batteries at all. Instead, it's all about a single overheating cable in a much smaller group of cars. And it is so important to keep these two issues straight in your head. The first one, the one we just talked about, is a potential battery defect that creates a fire risk, and it affects 4 different brands. This second issue, way simpler. It's just a cable that might not have been tightened correctly, which could cause it to overheat. And this one only impacts certain Peugeot models. So this second recall is very specific. We're talking about the Peugeot 3008 and 5008 models. It only affects a little over 4,000 cars that were built in a really tight window, just between June 23rd and August 20th of 2023. Now, unlike the battery problem, the fix for this is very hands-on, very mechanical. A technician will check the 48-volt heating cable and make sure it's tightened to exactly 8 Newton meters of torque. And that's not just making it tight. It's a very precise measurement to guarantee a perfect, secure connection that isn't going to work itself loose over time. And they've got a plan B. When they do the inspection, if the technician sees any signs that the cable has already started to overheat, any weird colors or damage, they're not just going to tighten it. They're going to replace the entire cable harness, just to be 100% safe. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but what does it all mean for you if you actually own one of these cars? Let's boil it all down into a super clear action plan. So here's what you need to do. First things first, carefully check your vehicle's model and its manufacturing date against those lists we just went over. If you've got a match, your next step is to call an authorized dealer right away. They'll get you booked in, perform all the necessary checks and repairs, and remember, all recall work is done completely free of charge. The absolute most important thing is not to wait. Get it checked out. And this whole situation really brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? As our cars get stuffed with more and more complex software, high-voltage batteries, and all these intricate systems, are these massive proactive recalls just the new normal? Is this what it takes to keep us safe? It's really something to think about, that trade-off between all this amazing new technology and the challenges of building it perfectly every single time.